I tuned in and out last night, Simon, of events at Anfield and events at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I flipped back and forward as well, yeah.
And Tottenham staged a second half surge to beat Brentford 3-2. They move above Villa into the top four. Champions League football, is it as good as a trophy in terms of worth for Postecoglou this season?
No, because a trophy just removes a whole raft of observations, but it's a pretty good alternative.
Yeah.
Economically and logistically, it's a great building block and a platform, because Tottenham are a very interesting side to watch. They're a very engaging side to watch. I'm very pleased to see Richarlison scoring so many goals. Maddison, is a player, is a proper player. And Danny Murphy and Graham Souness wax lyrical about him. And when you see him, some of the things he does, he's a very gifted player. People can see it for their own eyes. The challenge for me with Tottenham is this conversion between a side that's capable of flicking a switch and ripping people to pieces, and then losing their focus, not being ruthless enough and not strangling the life out of a game. They let Brentford have their way in the first half. They played into Brentford's tactics and game, and they found themselves in a situation. They came back, smashed them 3 goals in a very short space of time, and then again they did the same thing that they did to Chelsea, which is go off the ball.
Yeah.
They don't squeeze it and they let Brentford back in the game. And Brentford could have come out of that game with a lot more than just a point. Than just two goals and make it a competitive match. So they could have come out of a point.
No, absolutely.
So I think that by getting a Champions League berth, albeit it's the bottom of the Champions League pile, and you have to go through the qualifying groups, don't you, if you finish 4th, don't you?
Yeah.
Is that right? It will build the confidence that Postecoglou is trying to build a culture that believes it can win. That's why he made that ridiculous statement that he would play a high line with 9 players or 8 players or whatever he felt he had on the pitch.
Or because like 5 or 6 players.
Because the culture of what he's trying to get these players to understand is what a real winning mentality belief system looks like.
Yeah.
And they're on their way now as far as a team that plays, but they're too open at times, and they lack maturity of a winning organisation. Now, get into 4th spot this year, and you start to build that up. You start to slay dragons and build motivations in people and build understanding of the principle, because the best way a manager can get people to buy into things is get the results that are required to do so.
I mean, some of the lads in the office are Tottenham fans. I was listening to some of the chat this morning. They think Ange's tactics now and again almost kamikaze-like.
Well, I imagine from their lofty heights of understanding what it's like to put together a football team, that will be something that Ange will listen to and pay particular attention to.
Well, they can watch with their own eyes like everybody else.
They're 4th in the league. What do you want? Where should they be then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at times though they are. You saw what Brentford did early on.
You can listen to uninformed observations and bring them into a conversation and suggest someone should be charged.
Uninformed? I don't think they're other shows. These lads.
That's what I mean. Uninformed. I've seen those shows.
That's true.
If you look at kamikaze tactics and you look at bravery and front foot football, you're building a culture.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come overnight. You're building a style of football. Manchester City didn't just arrive at this kind of play and this kind of thought process instantaneously. And Ange Postecoglou is turning round the decay that was put in by that, at the end, charlatan Conte.
Yeah.
And building a side that's capable of being a very impressive side to watch and a very difficult side to play against. And his philosophy is, we will beat you. I'd love to see England play like that. I'd love to see England play with more belief in themselves. Stop playing 2 holding midfield players and start getting at sides.
Go for it.
And go for it.
You score 3, we'll get 4.
Because you've got the talent to do it.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.